Well, I tell you, while that last video uploads, decide to come on here, take on a few more steps. Had to change thumb guards a little bit. I started to record this video a while back and cut myself through the thumb guard because I keep making new ones and they keep getting mislaid, and I keep having to pick up old ones and use them again, and those old ones, they just kind of wear after a while and don't work as well. But we've got a little more carving to do to kind of spread out the space between the two hind legs. So we're going to put on a little glove, kind of put our work right into that and see how this is going to make it come to be, and how this little time in our life when we work this little thing out, make it so it's going to see a little Frenchy come our way. I say this is just the way it comes along, the way we do. And so as for now, try to put a little more work into these little things and see how they're going to be. I say that this little time when we kind of make this way around the front legs too, try to just spread things out a little bit more and come down to where we just put a little extra effort into our piece that we do and see how this is going to come out. It would be hard to get into those lines between the hind legs, the way they're kind of curved up, but we can have our ways of getting in there to take care of that little bit of piece of work, and then kind of take it from there where we kind of carve out little lines, make it so that we can see little dogs make their ways about little things, and then got a little line to cut in between the two front legs to kind of try to make that little slot of a place to make lines come out a little better, and then come down to where we see a little light in us. And now I think it's coming to the point where we can kind of sand these saw marks that are under the feet, kind of get it smoothed down here where we're going to place the little label, and a little work coming this way, make it so we're going to see brighter days, brighter eves. Oh, a little work comes this way, I say, make it so we're going to see little lights coming our way, make it so we're going to brighten little worlds. I'd say there's probably a little bit of a thicker grit somewhere we can use to get the worst of this, but we're going to take on this little thing here, make it so it's going to be prepared to have the label underneath. A little sanding is going to do a little good. I've always heard it said that if you can carve slowly enough, you won't have to sand your work. That's kind of the hardest thing for me to do. I get really active at what I do, get really fast at what I do, and like they always told me when I first started carving and going to guild, that I was taking things a little too fast here and there and about the carving, and they were always telling me to kind of slow things down a little bit. There were even times when we carved in a place that was right next to a convenience store that sold Red Bulls, so I'd go over there and get some Red Bulls to kind of have while I carved. They told me about how active and hyper those could make you, and it never did me any harm anyway, so I just kind of worked about them and did my little job in all things, and finally worked a way about it to make it so it was going to be an energetic, highly valued piece of work. And this is where we come down to seeing what this little piece shall be. We make it so we see a little ways, make it so we see a little light, make a little light shine to us and see a little light come into us, and then maybe make it so it's all going to come down to what it needs to be and ought to be, and finally just work our way down to stand underneath everything and see how it's going to turn out for the better. I say it's just little things we do now, some little work. I say kind of got to sand away at places, see how they're going to be and what they're going to do like, and then this is how it's coming about now. There's not much we can do here, but I say that this little time and work in our space is just kind of like what it shall all come down to when we get the project all done, and that's what it's all going to be when we get down to the last little bit of this. Make it so it's going to be a little good project for you and me to do. And finally, there's other little things we got to tackle here. Think we might go ahead, find where the label is, and put it on under the feet. When I got cut in between the last videos, I had to put on these Elmo bandages because that's what my niece has here. So that's all we have here. And then it comes this moment we kind of make a little cut along to get out the little tag, and then finally we're going to place it on underneath and then see what it's all going to come down just to be, and then kind of put it on, see how it's going to be. There's other little places in here we're probably going to carve along, work along, but we'll kind of take care of them in their own little time. We've got some burning to do before we seal the label, so that's what we got to tackle next. Maybe try to include it in the next part of this video, maybe. I'll see about that. Okay, so for this little moment, decided I'd come back on just to kind of share a little more. I wouldn't be the wisest thing that I have the wood burner over in this corner, but I do, and there's just little things we're going to demonstrate here. I mean, I'll tell y'all I got this little skew tip pin on, and where I've drawn the lines for the insides of the ears, I will kind of make it so the lines will come in the way they ought to and should be, and make it so it looks enough like a French Bulldog in the appearance it has to have. And as for the work to come along, we got the little places here Probably got a place where we can put in another line or two. Now I tell y'all that I kind of got those little lines in for the ears and made these little lines in for the little whiskers, but there's another thing here we're going to work on. We're going to put sassafras under the hind legs because that's the kind of wood we use, and we always make a little burning imprint of the type of wood that we use for our projects. And that's what we did here. We're going to, behind the two front legs, put my initials and the year 2023. And then we come down to where there will just be one last thing we'll do. And to avoid getting it on our pants again, try to turn off the wood burner first so we don't ignite anything. But we will take this super glue and kind of apply it down here to this little place, and we will sort of like take the little towel and we will kind of wipe it a little bit to the edge, make it so it's going to come out a little smoother and better to work along with, and then put a little bit more glue on there, try to work it along its way to brighten a little light in us, shine a little light in us, and oh, work, I say, make it so we're going to glaze over this label and see what it shall come to be. Oh, and oh, for a good little dog like this, pup on a string, I say, makes me think of how not too many years ago I went on iTunes and purchased a certain old country album with the song goes, Waterloo, Waterloo, everybody's got to meet their Waterloo, like a puppy on a string, something, and everybody's got to meet their Waterloo. And the fact they use that illustration, a puppy on a string, that was just a little interesting thing I note to the song. And so we'll say that this little thing we do, shine the bright light up to where it needs to go, and then try to put enough coats on this that the oil won't make it come off when it soaks, but this is exactly what we do. That's what it comes down to. Forgot to show you all what's on the inside here, but that's, like I said, my initials and the year. So we are going to bring this series to an end right here, and hopefully see you in the next.